of made a little chart for us right here, so we can kind of go along as we do it today. You know, these units are in microseconds, or basically any units of time, because I may have you guys convert it too, right? So definitely you want to know your conversion. You want to know how to convert things from the base unit to a larger or smaller unit, or from a smaller unit, or you just want to know how to convert from either way, whether it be a larger unit to a smaller unit or vice versa. All right? I'm not really going to focus on typical values too much. You know, I'm going to just kind of breeze through that. Okay? We know that pulse duration is determined by the sound source, right? Because whatever the manufacturer makes the transducer as, that's what they're going to determine the pulse duration when they're making the transducer. Okay? So dB determined by, I should use a red pen for that. Okay. Determined by the typical values, they definitely matter. I'm just not going to write them today. I'm not going to write them today because those are just numbers that, remember guys, I said you just have to remember. And according to the seniors, they don't ask a lot of typical values. So, you know, I don't want to say they don't matter because you may just get a test that asks you typical values. That's the thing, everybody gets a different test. The bank is so big that I can't pinpoint what's going to be on there and what's not going to be, but I do have to cover typical values because that's in the NEC of this class. Okay. All right. So again, pulse duration determined by the sound source. When the manufacturer makes the transducer, they already determine the pulse duration. Okay. No, it is not adjustable by the sonographer. There's no knob or anything like that we have on the machine that we can adjust the pulse duration. All right. Only thing we can do if we want to change pulse duration was to change the actual transducer. All right. We're good on pulse duration, guys. Remember the time of the pulse, the time of the pulse. All right. From the start of the pulse to the end of the pulse. All right. That's an example right there. Pulse duration. So we can just call pulse duration also our on time, right? It's just our talking time, right? All right, so I'll just put it right here, on time. Bang, right there. All right, so pulse duration is just the time it takes the entire pulse, from the beginning of the pulse to the end of the pulse. All right, boom. All right, the formulas for pulse duration, there's two formulas, right, to figure out what the pulse duration is. All right, I did make you guys a worksheet that you can take home where you can kind of apply the formulas. Guys, it's no math on the SPI, you know. I'm just trying to make it relatable to you guys so you know how one is related to the other, okay? So I'm not going to get real deep in any math because there's really no math on the SPI. Okay, small, like minor math, like what we're doing already, okay? So somebody tell me what are our formulas for pulse duration?
How about cycle time period?
All right, PD equals number, I'm just going to abbreviate, number of cycles multiplied by the period, right? Times the period. Times the period. Or is 2, right?
Divide by number of cycle.
PD is also the number of cycles
divided by frequency.
Divided by the frequency. And that makes sense, right? Because period and frequency, they're inversely related, right? They're reciprocal of each other. So that's why that formula is worked out in that way. And we did some problems the other day where we can determine period just by giving us the frequency and the number of cycles, or we can determine the frequency just by having the number of cycles in the period, right? Because we know that they're inversely related, so it should equal 1 when they multiply those numbers together. Okay? What's I say about that? But to determine the pulse duration, you're always going to need the number of cycles. Okay? You're always going to need the number of cycles. If I don't give you the number of cycles, then you can't determine the pulse duration, right? Because it's in both formulas. It's in both formulas right there. See, number of cycles, number of cycles. So if I don't give you that, you can't determine what that number is. Okay? All right? So let's talk about the relationship. Do you have a question, guys?
Yeah, even though if we have the pulse duration or period, we cannot find the cycle? Or like if you have the frequency or pulse duration, then we can find it. That's what I thought.
Maybe so. I think you can. You can. But I'm not gonna give you pulse duration. If I give you any number, I'm probably gonna ask you to figure out the pulse duration.
Oh, okay.
Like that's just getting deep into the math right there. I'm trying to keep a surface. I'm trying to keep a surface because, like I said, it's no math on the SPI. Question, Jasmine?
So is period still reciprocal or inversely related to frequency?
Always.
Okay.
Always. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It sure is. So let's talk about the relationship that pulse duration has with the number of cycles. It's directly related to the number of cycles, right? Because the duration of the pulse is going to get longer if you increase the number of cycles or decrease them. Then it's going to get shorter. Okay? It's directly proportional to the period as well. Because if the time it takes to create a cycle is longer, then our pulse duration is going to increase as well, correct? All right? And it's inversely proportional to the frequency. And you can just determine that relationship because we know it's directly proportional to the period. Okay? And we kind of, I don't know if you guys remember, we kind of worked out, I kind of had some cycles up there and we were trying to see that how it's related frequency. And so if you have shorter wavelengths, they're going to come, that means the wave is more frequent, right? So that also means that our period is going to be shorter. All right. So if our period is shorter, then our pulse duration is going to be shorter as well. Sweet. All righty, guys. All righty. And we always want shorter pulses because they provide us with greater image accuracy and the best axial resolution. Okay? Axial resolution is the reason that we can see structures in front and behind each other. All right. That's why we can see the kidney behind the liver. That's how we can see the aorta posterior to the pancreas because of axial resolution. Okay? So axial resolution is the resolution that we can see that runs parallel to the beam, right? That are parallel, because the beam is going from superficial to deep, right? So that's parallel to the beam. All right, axial resolution.
What's the relation?
With shorter
axial.
pulses
Yeah.
increase axial resolution. They provide greater image accuracy.
Yeah.
Short pulse durations. All right. Remember again, guys, a pulse typically contains 2 to 4 cycles. All right. So, spatial pulse length, guys. I know I kind of went out of order of the book, but I did that on purpose because I felt like pulse duration and spatial pulse length, they were kind of similar in the aspect that they're both directly related to they're both directly related to either the time or the distance. Okay? Again, spatial pulse length. It's in there, it's telling you exactly what it is.
Distance.
The distance of the pulse, how long that pulse is, right? All right? The distance that the pulse occupies the space from the start to the end of the pulse. Okay? Our units for spatial pulse length are going to be millimeters, or basically like I